Hey, welcome back. I'm Lucas, and tonight I've got another story ready to ease you into sleep. Take a moment, settle into your space, and let's begin. Clara had been in Tuscany for 8 days, but somehow it was the 9th night that lingered in her bones. The kind of night that seemed to arrive from a different season entirely. Cooler, quieter, too slow to belong to summer, too soft to be anything else. The last train to Florence had pulled away 10 minutes ago. She hadn't meant to miss it. The delay at the gelato stand wasn't worth the consequence, but Pistachio had called to her, and she'd answered. Now she stands alone on the stone platform of a town whose name she hadn't learned to pronounce. Above her, the station light buzzed with a tired yellow hue. It flickered like it knew this platform was only meant for transfers and forgettable waits. She checked her phone. No signal. Figured, she whispered to no one. A voice, accented but warm, answered behind her. You missed the last one. Clara turned startled. A man stood by the vending machine, sleeves rolled, collar unbuttoned just enough to suggest he'd been somewhere important earlier. Or maybe he always looked like that. The kind of man you weren't sure if you should trust or simply kiss. I did, she said, tucking her hands into her coat. Wasn't planning on staying. He tilted his head, just slightly. No one ever does. The silence between them stretched like silk. She could leave, she supposed. Find a taxi, walk into town, and hope someone took pity on her accent. But there was something about the man's voice. Low, measured, like it had been dipped in warm tea and left out in the rain. I'm Luca, he said. My family owns the wine shop down the road and the apartment above it. There's a room if you need. She hesitated. I don't want anything, he added quickly, except maybe a name. Clara, she said. And I don't usually take strange men up on their offers. I'm only strange until you say yes. She smiled despite herself. Luca's shop smelled like oak and oregano. Bottles lined the walls like a chapel of reds and whites. Candles lit low along the floor. He brought her upstairs without ceremony or flourish. The room was small, with a wrought iron bed and a window that opened to the hills. The linens were sun-washed. The air smelled faintly of crushed basil and thyme. Clara sat on the edge of the bed while Luca lit a candle. No power, she asked. He glanced over his shoulder. There is, but sometimes it's nicer not to use it. She watched the flame settle into its own rhythm. Can I offer you some wine? He asked. Is that rhetorical? He returned with 2 glasses. This one's new. We haven't named it yet. She took a sip and paused. It was rich, earthy, like the memory of something just out of reach. You name your wines, only the good ones. The rest are just bottled mistakes. She smiled again. This one tastes like a secret. He raised his glass. To secrets, then. Later, they sat on the rooftop. The stars here were unapologetically bright, as if the sky had forgotten to dim itself for human comfort. She wrapped her coat tighter around her out of instinct. Luca leaned back on his elbows. You look like you could be running from something. Am I that obvious? He shrugged. It's not a bad thing. Most people are running. They just call it vacation. Clara didn't answer. Instead, she watched something small and bright move lazily across the dark. She wondered if someone out there was watching her back. I was supposed to be in Florence tonight, she said finally. Hotel booked. Train ticket in my bag. But I stopped for gelato. Pistachio, he said, without looking at her. She blinked. How did you? People who choose pistachio are always a little late for things. She laughed. Truly this time. He turned to face her. What's in Florence that couldn't wait? She hesitated. Nothing important. I think I just wanted to be somewhere else. I didn't want to be where I was anymore. He nodded like he understood. I had a fence, she added. Had. It ended before this trip. He said I was always somewhere else. Are you? She looked at him. Really looked. The curve of his cheekbone, those sun-kissed cheeks from spending too many hours under the sun, the steadiness in his hands, like he was always present by necessity. I don't know, she said honestly. In the quiet that followed, Luca stood. He offered his hand. She took it. He led her back downstairs, not to the apartment, but to the shop. The door creaked open like an old friend. Inside, the bottles glimmered in the candlelight like sentinels. He gestured toward a blank label. Write something, he said. Clara took the pen, paused. She wrote, "The night we missed the train." He nodded. "La notte del treno perduto." That'll age well. She felt something stir in her chest. A flutter, like the first page of a long-forgotten book turning itself over in the dark. She didn't kiss him. He didn't ask. But when she lay in the bed later, candlelight flickering on the ceiling, she thought of the way his eyes didn't try to explain her, the way he let silence sit in the room like a welcomed guest, not an unavoidable obligation. The wine still warmed her fingertips. She heard the stairs creak once, softly, then nothing more. Not everything had to end with a goodbye. Some moments just folded into the night and stayed there. In the morning, the sun filtered in through the half-closed white shutters. Downstairs, she could hear the low murmur of bottles being arranged, the clink of glass against wood. She ran her fingers along the windowsill. There were 2 cups of coffee waiting in the kitchen. One of them was already cooling. The bag was packed, the train schedule sat beside it, but her feet stayed still. This time, perhaps she'd try staying. If you're still awake, thank you for sharing this quiet moment with me. When you're ready for another story, I'll be right here. Sleep well, and if you'd like more nights like this, you know what to do.